So very good morning to all of you. Welcome to this webinar. Myself, Sujit Kakkar. I'm very sure all of you know me. And today we are launching a very exciting product, a very exciting service. I'm very sure most of you would have an idea about it. So let's understand what this product is all about. So when it comes to demand and supply trading, right, the biggest challenge which a lot of traders they face is how to shortlist stocks. Because what happens is to identify our demand zones and to identify our supply zones, we need to have a list of stocks where we can go in and we can identify quality demand and supply setups. Now, how do traders, they mostly shortlist their stocks? There are a number of ways. The first way is they have their favorite stock list, right? Maybe some stocks which you already have in your portfolio or some stocks you have been trading for a long enough period of time and they become as your favorite stocks. And that is the only list you look into. At times, traders, they use some filters. Now, these filters can be very, very basic. As an example, somebody might say that I only want to look at the Nifty 50 scripts, right? Somebody might say I only want to look at, the mid-cap companies, right? Somebody might even be using some fundamentals. As an example, I only want to look at blue chip companies, right? So these are very simple filters based on which, again, some people, they create their list of stocks and those are the only stocks they look into when they have to identify their demand areas and supply areas. And the third thing can be people who are using scanners, which are a little bit more complex versus filters. Now, scanners can be, again, based on fundamental analysis. It can be based on technical analysis, wherein you just don't give one condition, you give multiple conditions, where you can also add some, as an example, if you're using some technical scanners, you can also add some indicators, oscillators, and based on all the conditions which you put in, what happens is that these scanners, they shortlist some stocks for you. Now, irrespective, whatever methodology you're using, whether you have your favorite stocks or you have some very basic filters or you're using some scanners, you always get a list of scripts. And now out of this list of scripts, you go through each and every stock, right? That is what you do. And for every script, you do your multiple time frame analysis. And after doing your multiple time frame analysis, you get to see which opportunities are qualifying with your trade plan. Now, the challenge with this shortlist or this methodology, the way you're shortlisting your stocks, right, irrespective whether you used your favorite stocks or the filters or the scanners, the challenge number one is at times your list can be very, very small, right? And if your list is small, what you will realize is that out of all the stocks that you have in your list, you were not able to identify any quality zone, which means probably you wasted half an hour or 1 hour going through your complete list. And after going through that half an hour or 1 hour of exercise, no productive results, right? You were not able to identify any trading opportunity. Now, to overcome this challenge, what happens is you start creating your watch list and you start, building it up and have more number of scripts in that watch list. So that is what people, they do. Initially, they try to go with a small list. And once they start going with a small list, they realize that looking at a small list, you don't get a lot of trading opportunities. So they start increasing the number of stocks in their list. And once the list is big, now the second challenge you face is that it becomes very time consuming, right? So now you might be spending 1.5 hour or 2 hour going through complete list. And you're putting in a lot of effort, 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. So can anyone give me an idea in the chat box, on average, how many hours do you spend, looking at these scripts to identify your quality trading opportunities? So give me some numbers in the chat box. Let me just try to have an idea. 1.5 to 2 hours, 1 hour. Okay. What else? More than 3 hours, Sanjay. Okay. Right. So that is what the average is. And that is what I have seen based on my experience as well, that on average, people spend somewhere around 2 hours to 3 hours. Okay. 3 hours only for 15 scripts. Okay, Padam. So that's a lot of time you're spending. It takes around 2.5 hours to analyze the FNO list. Perfect. So can you see people are looking at around a number of scripts, but it takes you 3 to 4 hours, right? So what I'll say is the average is somewhere around 2 to 3 hours, right? That is what the average you can see based on the replies which we are getting in the chat box, that on average people are spending somewhere around 1.5 hours to the max I've seen based on your replies is 4 hours. So it is very time consuming. And what happens is that once you go through this very big list, you will also realize that most of the stocks, they don't have quality zones, right? Which means you gave in 3 hours of effort or 2 hours of effort. And after putting in those 3 hours of effort, you were only able to identify probably 5, 6 scripts. Would you also agree to that? That, putting it 5 hours, 2 hours, or maybe 1.5 hour, at the end of it, you only have very few handful scripts where you are able to identify some quality zones, right? Which also means that yes, it is time consuming, but on top of that, it is also wasting a lot of time, right? Because you have to go through a very big list to identify very few trading opportunities. Now, the next challenge which you face is, now some of you would be very active traders, maybe full-time traders. And what happens is, even during the live market, you are jumping between scripts to identify where an opportunity is getting built up. And many times what happens is, you're looking at one script, and as soon as you move to the next script, you realize that there was a trading opportunity just 5 minutes ago. And just because you are not watching that script, you have missed that opportunity. So has it happened to anyone? Put it in the chat box. And then you feel, if I would have just seen this script 5 minutes ago, I would have also tapped into this opportunity, right? So we feel that many times, and we also get frustrated about it, that it was such a beautiful opportunity and I just missed it because I was looking at another script. So what I'll say is, if you have maybe 15, 20 monitors attached to your computer, and you're also superhuman that you can watch all the scripts simultaneously, then yes, you might not be missing those opportunities. But otherwise, you will be missing a lot of opportunities which get formed the very same day, especially if you are a full-time trader or a very active trader. Those opportunities you always miss. And the next biggest challenge is that even if you're using some scanners, they are lagging because all the scanners are based on conventional technical analysis, where it takes some time for the charts to show you what has started happening. And on top of that, most of the scanners which are available are EOD scanners, which means they only do the scan at the end of the day. If you try to do your scan during the live market, it doesn't happen. And many of the scanners are only based on the daily time frame, which means you can't do your scans for hourly incomes, maybe monthly incomes, weekly incomes, right? So which is where you also face these challenges. And one thing which all of you would be always wanting, or you would have loved to see, is a scanner which is based on demand and supply. And the fact is that there is no such scanner available in the market as of now, which does your scan based on demand and supply, which means you always have to scan based on conventional technical analysis, right? So these are the challenges which a lot of traders face. I also face the same challenges. So I thought sometime back, why not to overcome all these challenges? And that is when I started working on a product. So I worked on it very, very hard for a very long period of time. And that is what we are launching today. So let me give you more information about this. So what is the solution to all these problems, right? So the solution to all these problems is the service which we have created, which we call as the alerts service. So what the service basically does, let me tell you the features about it. So the very first thing is, it gives you live alerts on our Telegram channel. So what happens is, you will be joining our Telegram channel, and it will give you live alerts as soon as a demand area or a supply area is formed on the chart, right? So you heard it correct. It will give you alerts based on demand and supply, not based on conventional technical analysis. So as soon as a quality demand zone is formed on any of the script, on any of the time frame, you immediately get your alert, and you get those alerts within in fact, I'll say in less than 30 seconds. So as soon as the zone inform, in less than 30 seconds, you have your alerts with you on our Telegram channel. The second advantage and the feature is that it will give you alerts for all purposes of trading, irrespective whether you're an hourly income trader, a daily income trader, a weekly income trader, or a monthly income trader, right? So now one thing could have happened is, because you already are spending around, let's say, 1.5 hour to 2 hour, you were only doing daily income analysis because you were always running short of time. And now, because of our scanner, you will see that you won't have to spend a lot of time. You can also look into weekly incomes. You can also look into hourly incomes. Right. So when you say quality zones, do you mean qualified zones? So when I mean quality zones, by quality zones, I mean that it will always give you zones which will be having explosive moves, right? So talking about some of the odd enhancers or the boosters, it will always be a fresh zone. It will always be an explosive move, and it will always have a few candles in the basing, right? So that is where the quality comes from. And qualified, you will have to check, the location on the curve. Plus, you will have to, if you're a trader who likes to trade with the trend, or if you are at a location where you need to trade with the trend, Those are the only two factors you'll have to check, which would be your location and your trend. So other than location and trend, everything else is taken care of, right? So you will always get a quality setup, the kind of setup we always hunt for on the lower time frame. That is the kind of setups you will be getting the alerts for. Now, coming to the third feature, now what happens is during the day, you'll be getting a lot of alerts for dailies, hourlies, weeklies, monthlies. So we all have also created an alert filter Excel sheet for you where you can filter your results. So I'll be showing you a demo of all these things in just a few minutes. Right. So these are the three main features which, the advantage which you'll be getting. One is you have live alerts. Second is for all purposes of trading. And third is you can also filter out of that as well. Are you considering trend correlations as at future date? Definitely not. And the reason for that is because, when it comes to trends, now as an example, if I am very high in the curve, I can go against the trend. Similarly, if I'm very low in the curve, I can go against the trend. So that's the reason, adding that trend doesn't make any sense. And again, if you talk about trend, what is trend? Trend is always the movement of price between your high time frame demands and high time frame supply. So if I am at very high of the curve, I know this uptrend, very high probability can convert into a downtrend, right? So that's the reason we have not added that. And we were not even planning to do that, because that is where you will be missing some of the very good trading opportunities where you can enter the trade even before the trade starts, right? But again, what will happen is when you get that list of stocks from the screener, I'll just show you as a demo in some time, you will see the list is anyhow very small. So even if you do all your analysis, I'll say it will not take you more than 15-20 minutes to complete your analysis for the day. Right? So all those things, even after doing, hardly it should take you around 15 to 20 minutes and your day should be over, for which you were maybe initially putting in 2 hours of effort. Right. So now these were the challenges which we discussed that we face, especially as a demand and supply trader. So now what happens by using our alerts? The list becomes very small for you. And even when you're looking at that small list will always show you quality setups, right? It will not show you setups which are not high quality. So even if it is a small list, it will always be a quality setup. You only need to check the probability by looking at your locations and your trends. Even if you get a large list, right? Again, that large list will only show you quality setups. But yes, if you don't want to look at so many scripts, you can filter it out by using our alert filter sheet. Now, initially we said that most of the stocks, they do not have quality zones, which is where you are wasting time. But here, most of the stocks, in fact, I'll say over 95% of the alerts which you'll be getting would always be quality zones, which is where you're not wasting time. Even if you're looking at a lot of scripts, right? You're not wasting time. Here you were missing your alerts, and here you will be getting your alerts during live market, which means no more missing opportunities, right? You don't have to look at 100 scripts, or you don't need to have now 10 monitors, 12 monitors. As soon as something is formed on any of the time frame, within 30 seconds, you have the alerts with you. You can go to that script and check whether you have a valid trading opportunity there or not. Now, all screeners, I told you, are lagging, but here we don't have any lag. I told you within 30 seconds, you get your alerts. And like we discussed, no scanners available for demand and supply. This is purely based on demand and supply, right? It only identifies trade setups for you where we have demand areas and where we have supply areas, right? So let me show you a small little demo of it. Just give me 1 second. Right, so what I'm doing is, can you see this is, right, so now you would be able to see. So this is the Telegram PC app, right? And I've installed it. So now can you see this is, this is yesterday, 9th of March. So as soon as market had opened at 9:15, can you see at 9:21, we got the first alert. So your first alert will always be at 9:21. After that, you can see that your 5 minutes. So can you see this is a 5-minute alert at 9:30, that these are the only scripts you can look into. So 5 minutes basically implies this is your lower time frame. And because this is your lower time frame, you're looking at an hourly income trade. Here you can see an example. You got your alert at 9:30, which was on 15 minutes chart, which basically implies this is your daily income trade. And for daily income trades, you got this alert. Then at 9:40, again, you got an alert on 5 minutes. Can you see the last alert was at 9:30, but at 9:25, there were no opportunities. That's the reason no alert at 9:25, but at 9:40, again, it found some opportunities. You get the alert, you got the alerts for them. Then you got one alert for 45, which is your 5 minutes, one alert for 15 minutes. And here again, you can see at 50, you got an alert. Then at 55, you got an alert. At 10 o'clock, you got an alert, right? So it keeps alerting you as and when some zones are getting formed, and also lets you know that which kind of analysis it is. Now here you can see an example. This is on the lower time frame, which is 5 minutes, which means it's an hourly income trade. This is lower time frame 15 minutes, which means it's a daily income trade. Here you can see the lower time frame is the hourly chart, which means it's a weekly income alert, right? Similarly, only during the day, no yearly scan. So the fact is, if it is running during the live market, at the end of the day, things will remain the same, right? So all you need to do is you just have this list for you. So what you can do at the end of the day, you just come here and you can copy all these scripts, right? So we'll right click and say copy text. And then, like I told you, we have a filter sheet which we created for you. Let me bring that up for you. And can you see this is where you have that filter sheet? So all you need to do on that filter sheet is just paste all these alerts, right? That's the only thing you need to do. And now you can go to the next page where you can give your timestamps. I'll explain to you what timestamps can be used for. And this is where you have your filters. So what this filter can help you with is, as an example, that you are a trader who only does daily income trades. So you click here and you will say, I don't want to see all the trades. I only want to see my daily income trades. And there you have your list of all daily income trades for which the alerts were created. Now, if I am a trader who only does the one is kind of in the world. Yes, this is the first of its kind in the world. You're absolutely correct about it, Bhanu. And again, I'll request everyone to select all panelists and attendees. Like Bhanu, you just posted using all panelists only. I can read your comment, other people can't. So make sure if you're putting in some comments, you have selected all panelists and attendees. Yes, this is one of the kind. I absolutely agree to it. So can you see, it just gave me the daily incomes. Now, if I want to see only my weekly income opportunities, so even if you have a very big list, can you see now I only have 1, 2, 3, 4 scripts to look at. And when I'm looking at these 4 scripts, they would, majority of them would be showing me, quality opportunities. Now, if I want to look at my hourly incomes, can you see now for hourly income, I have a very big list, right? Now, how can I even make this list a little bit smaller for me? The way I can make this list smaller is by going to my timestamps. So now let's imagine that I am a trader. Where can I get this Excel sheet? So once you register for our service, which is the alerts, you will also get access to this Excel sheet from our website. So don't worry about it. Right. So now the thing is, let's imagine, I have been trading for a very long time, and what I've seen based on my experience, right? I'm just giving you as an example, right? So let's say, imagine that as an example, I have seen that the zones which get created in between 9:30 and 11:30 are some of the best zones, and they work very beautifully for me. So what I can do is I can give my start time, that my start time is 9:30 and my end time is 11:30. But make sure whenever you're giving these time, this time has to be in multiples of 5, right? It cannot be 31 or it cannot be 32, because if you do that, as an example, if I change this to 32, you will see I will not get my number which we require here, right? So it always has to be in multiples of 5. So now I've given my start time as 9:30. I've given my end time as 11:30. What I can do is I can again come back to this filter sheet, and here I can say that my time range I want between, right? And here you have the numbers. These numbers is what you have to use. Your start time was number 70 and your end time is number 192. So just give these numbers and you will see now it will filter out and it will tell me, these were the only alerts which were, created, or, we got the alerts from 9:30 to 11:30, right? So that is how you can also make this list a little bit small for you. The filter is there a way to exclude played out zones and only show residue? No, that is not possible, because what is happening is you are getting these alerts as and when the zone is getting created, right? So in a way, you already have those alerts for you, right? And because you already have those alerts for you in the Telegram channel, right? That's how it is. Now, another thing that you can also do is, let's imagine, let's clear all these filters. So let's clear this filter. And let's imagine that you are a trader who only does weekly income trades. Right? And let's say, on that specific day, you also have a very big list of weekly income trades. And now you're a person who's only trading stocks, you're not trading futures. So you know that even if you have a short opportunity, you can't take that short opportunity in cash, because shorts can only be kept overnight in futures. So what you can also do is you can also, filter it based on your zones, because you're a cash trader. You only do in cash market. Therefore, the supply zone setups will not have any relevance to you. You can also filter it, and can you see now it's only showing you your demand setups. So can you see, initially a list which was very big list for you, in a way by default would be a very small list. Plus on top of that, if you want to filter it, you can filter it based on the name of the script that, these are the scripts which I like. So if again, you have your favorite list of stocks. Now, as an example, what I can do is let's remove all these filters. Right, and all the filters are removed. So now let's imagine you have some of your favorite stocks. So you can only select your favorite stocks from this list. So now, as an example, if your favorite stock is, let's remove all of them. So let's say Adani, Arvind, and Axis Bank. So you just select those, and you only have the alerts for those scripts. So you can filter based on your stock list, right? You can filter based on your purpose of trading. You can filter based on whether you just want to see demands and supplies, and you can also filter based on the range that, I only want to see alerts which, we received from this time to this time. Right, so that is how, anyhow the list would be very small list, but on top of that, right, you also have this facility where it's very easy for you. All you need to do is just copy paste it, right? You don't have to do anything else. Just take that complete list of alerts, copy paste it here. I just showed you how easy it is to copy paste. Just give me a second, I'll show it to you again. So the easiest way is you'll have to just install this Telegram app, which you can get from their website. And all you need to do is just click on, anywhere and start dragging it up. And you can also use the page up button, and everything will be copied. Just say Control C, everything is copied, just paste here. And then you can also start using these filters, right? So that's the filter Excel sheet, right, which will also help you filter out in case your list is very, very long. Now, let me also read some of the questions. Right, so this is a reply. This is also a reply. All right, so just give me a second. For HIT, does it also show some support from higher time frame weekly? No. So like I said, whenever it is identifying zones for you, it is only looking on the lower time frame. It is not looking at the curve location and not looking at the trend. And the reason for that is because different traders, different personality styles. As an example, when I do my weekly income trades, I don't mind using tested zones for curve, right? But you might be a trader who's conservative and you always prefer to use fresh zones for your curve. So which is where your curve analysis and my curve analysis would be different. Now, even if you're using fresh zones for the curve analysis, you might be using wick to wick method, but I might be using body to wick method, where again the location of the curve can change. So that's the reason I have purposely not included those things, because this would be something which will be based on traders' personal preference, right? And that's the reason I didn't keep them as part of the alert system. After getting alerts, we still have to do our zone and trend analysis. Yes, you will have to do your curve analysis and you'll have to do your trend analysis. But yes, let's imagine you are doing your curve analysis and you're already very high in the curve, or you're very low in the curve, which is where you don't even have to do your trend analysis now, because, very high of the curve and very low of the curve, all kind of trends can be traded, right? And I'm okay, perfect. So can you please correlate alerts with charts? Sure, why not? So what I'll do is I'll bring up, let's look at daily income alerts, right? And can you see these are the daily income alerts? So let's pick something randomly. Let's say Kotak Bank, and let's say another one. Let's say, which one? You tell me, right? So you give me, okay. But, if I ask you, I'll be getting a list of a lot of stocks. So let's take randomly TCS. And let's take a Kotak Bank, right? So we got an alert for Kotak Bank, and we got an alert for TCS. So TCS, we got a supply zone alert, and Kotak Bank also we got a supply zone alert. So I can also check at what time we got this alert. So if I go to TCS, I can search here TCS, right? And I'll say options. In fact, I'll just do this, find all. Right, so can you see for TCS, we got a few alerts. This was an alert which was for supply, and the time was 9:25. Then we also got this TCS alert which was at 2:15, right? We also got this TCS alert. So we got basically 3 alerts. Let's look at all these 3 alerts which we got for TCS. So the very first, in fact, let's start from the last one, right? So this was an alert which was on 15 minutes, and we got this alert at 2:15, right? So what I'll do is I'll bring up the chart. Just give me a second. So let's bring up TCS. Right, so at 2:15, we got an alert that on 15 minutes, my bad, stocks, right? And let me look at it again. Right, so at, just a second. Right, so at 2:15, we got an alert that we have a supply zone on TCS, right? So let's go back to the chart. And let's go to 15 minutes chart. And can you see when we got the alert, this is your 2:15. Can you see the candle is starting at 2 o'clock at the bottom, and it ended at 2:15. So as soon as 2:15, the candle closed, we got this alert that we have a supply zone on TCS, right? And if you see almost at the end of the day, wick to wick, it got tested and prices just started moving back. So the candle completed at 2:15, and immediately at 2:15, you had the alert for TCS. Let's take another example. All right, so this alert was on 5 minutes chart, and this alert of TCS was at 12:20. You can see, so what will happen is 12:20, the candle got completed. So it started at 12:15 and completed at 12:20. We had an alert for TCS. Let's check that again. So on 5 minutes chart, right, let's go to 5 minutes, and it was, okay, just let me see, was it a demand alert or was it a supply alert? Now this was a demand zone alert, right? So everyone can see that this was a demand zone alert, which we got at 12:15. So where is my 12:15? 12:15 is right here. Okay, I need to be on a 5 minute. Okay, just let me go back and check on my Excel sheet. Let me bring that up. Right, so it was an alert on TCS 12:20. 12:20 TCS alert on 5 minutes. So we have 12, 12, 12. So this is the demand zone alert. So can you see we got a demand zone alert? So this demand zone was formed, which is a rally-based rally. Prices again came to that zone, gave a small bounce, and then started moving back. So can you see as soon as 5 minutes chart, the zone was completed. You can see this candle starts at 12:15 and got completed at 12:20, and you got the alert for that. Let's take another script, right? And let's pick another script for examples. Let's say we were talking about, let's say Kotak Bank. So what I can do is I can also search here, Kotak Bank, right, just to have an idea at what time we got the alerts. So find all. For Kotak Bank, let's start with the last one. We got an alert at 3:10. At 3:10, we got an alert that we have a demand zone on 5 minutes, right? 3:10 alert, demand zone on 5 minutes. Kotak Bank. Okay. Kotak Bank. On 5 minutes, we got an alert that we have a demand zone. Can you see this is your 3:10, a drop base rally, and that is where prices, they ended at the end of the day in that demand area. And I just showed you a few examples, right? So, alerts are also considering single leg out candles. Right, so let's not get into the technicalities of what these alerts are doing, but can you see most of the times whenever I'm opening these charts, it is always showing you quality demand areas and quality supply areas. All you need to do is you just need to check where you are placed on the curve and whether it is in sync with the trend or whether it is not in sync with the trend, right? So I just showed you a few examples where you can see as soon as you go to your lower time frame, you always have something quality which the alert provides you. Right, so that is where you have a few examples, right? So somebody asked me for the example, so I just showed you a few examples. Now, the next thing is that if you want to, I just showed you examples which have already happened. So if you want to experience live examples, you can join our demo channel. So this is the URL for it. You guys can take the screenshot. It's t.me/skalertdemo. And as soon as you go to this link, it will add you to our demo channel on Telegram. On this demo channel, you get hourly income alerts on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, right? So it's not every day we give you the alerts, but on the demo channel, right? So on the demo channel, it will only be on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So this is a free channel, and you will be part of that channel as long as you wish to. But the only limitation is you will only be getting hourly income alerts on this channel, and will only be getting it on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So you can use it as a demo as long as you wish. And it will be real-time alerts again. It's not that just because it is a demo, we are giving you 5 minutes delayed or 10 minutes delayed. As soon as the zones are getting formed, immediately you'll have your alerts. In fact, some of you would have also been a part of this channel for the last 1 or 2 days, because we were testing it, and I'm very sure you would have seen works beautifully, right? So that is, so can you fine tune explosive candles? What are the final settings now? You mean the settings on TradingView for the explosive candles? So who asked this question? It was Sahil, right? So Sahil, do you mean the settings for the explosive candles on TradingView? All right, so what you're saying is when we are getting alerts, you're matching it with TradingView, and at times it's not matching with TradingView, or maybe TradingView is showing you some setups which the alert system is not showing you. Is that what you're pointing at, Vijay? For alerts, which trading platform are you using to trade? Okay, so no for alerts. So Sahil, can you just type it in the chat box, the complete thing? I'm not able to get what you're pointing at. So if you can, add your complete query in the chat box, I'll just go through it. And the next question is which trading platform? That's irrelevant, right? So probably we might not be even using any trading platform. We might be doing it based on our own programming, right? So that's irrelevant. You just enjoy the service which we are providing you. So Sahil, I'll wait for your question in the chat box. So let's move to the next thing, right? Which is a very important question which all of you would be having is what is the cost of getting these alerts? Now, the pricing, we have kept it very, very cheap, right? So that is what the pricing is for this. And if you talk about it, it is available in 2 different subscriptions. One is the 30-day subscription, and the second one is 60 days subscription. The 30-day subscription costs you 2,400 excluding taxes, and the 60-day subscription costs you 4,000, which means 2,000 for 30 days, which is again excluding taxes. Right, but wait, right? For our POS and POS students, I have a very big surprise, right? So students who have already taken the POS course with us or have already taken POS plus course with us, right? So we have something very good for you, and that is the cost, which is 2,400 for 30 days and 4,000 for 60 days. Any idea what would be the cost for POS and POS plus students? And so just give me the numbers in the chat box. What do you think? Right, so let's see what you're expecting. Yeah, all right, Sunil, all right, good. Free, definitely not free, because it's a lot of hard work which we had to put in, right? And it's a lot of hard work, a lot of things which we are using. But Dilip, your guess is absolutely correct. Paresh, your guess is also absolutely correct, that for our POS and POS plus students, you get 50% off on it, right? Which means your 30 days would only be 1,200 for you, and your 60 days would only be 2,000, which makes it just 1,000 rupees for 30 days. Plus, right, I have another surprise, especially for the POS students, right? So for POS students, anyhow, it would be costing you 2,000 for 2 months, which is 1,000 for a month. But because you are our POS plus students, which means we also have to give you something additional, which is your plus thing, right? Which is already added to the POS. And that advantage is that for POS students, whenever you subscribe for it or whenever you renew it, with every subscription and every renewal, you get 1 complimentary Q&A session access, right? So, the Q&A sessions, once you're done with the course, if you just want to go for the Q&A sessions, the Q&A sessions, they cost you around 500. So what we have done is you also get 1 complimentary Q&A session, which means the cost now goes down to 1,500, which is almost like 750 a month is what it is costing you, right? So that's the surprise for our students, which is POS and POS plus students. Yes, the session is getting recorded, so not to worry. Iska recording will be making available later to all of you. So that's the surprise for our POS and POS Plus students. But if you're not a POS or POS Plus student with us, we still have a surprise for you. And that surprise is that on your renewals, right? So the very first time, definitely it's 2,400 and 4,000 if you're not a student with us. But whenever you're renewing, and you're renewing before the expiry of your ongoing subscription, right? If your subscription is expired and if you renew after it, it would not be considered as a renewal. It will be considered as a fresh subscription. But whenever you are renewing it before the expiry of your subscription, you people also get 20% discount, which means the 30 days, which is 2,400, would cost you 1,920. And the 60 days, which is 4,000, would cost you 3,200, which is around 1,600, right? So that's the, so what are the charges for POS and POS Plus? So you can check it on our website. All the details are provided. Now, just give me a second. I'll also show you where you can access this. Yes, Hardeep, even if you are a ex-POS Plus student, you have complimentary access, right? So that is what it is. So don't worry if you have taken a POS course with us, even if you're an ex-student, whenever you subscribe, whenever you renew, you get one complimentary Q&A session access, right? So let me also show you our product page. So what you need to do is you'll come to our, just give me a second, I'll start the screen sharing. So you'll come to our website, right? Here you have all courses and products. And under all courses and products, now you also will be able to see our latest product, which is your alert subscription. You click on here. And here you will be able to see three different options. The very first one is alerts. This is for anyone who's not a POS student or a POS Plus student. The cost is 24 and 4,000, whether you are taking the 30 days or 60 days. If you are a POS student, you should be selecting this, because if you select this, you will be paying extra. So there is no reason to pay extra. You can select this because you get 50% discount on it. But if you try to select this one, you will not be able to buy it, right? So I'll just show you the difference between the two. So I'll open this as well as this. So as a POS student, whenever you are subscribing, yes, you get that option whether you want to go for the 30-day subscription, which is 1,200, or you want to go for 60 days, which is 2,000, right? And you can select from which date you want your subscription to start. So from that day, we will be adding you to the channel. Now, as an example, we know weekends, the markets are off. So what will happen is whenever you are choosing a date, it will always be a weekday, right? You can select from whichever weekday you want. And from that day, your 30 days or 60 days would be counted. And for the POS Plus students, right? So here you can see, you will also be selecting whether you want 30 days or 60 days. You will also be selecting that from which date you want this to start. Plus, you can also select which complimentary session you want to take. So you can select for the next 60 days, but you can't go beyond the next 60 days. So within the next 60 days, if you want to go for the morning sessions are on Fridays, which is 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. If you want to go for the evening sessions is from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., which is on Thursdays. So you can choose whether you want to take the morning session or the evening session. But one thing which I'll add here is that select your dates very, very carefully, because once you have selected this date, they cannot be modified. Right, which means if later you feel that I'm not available on this day and you want to make a modification to that date, it's not possible. So once selected, that will remain as your day. And second thing is that if you miss that session, recordings will also not be available for you if you are an ex-student, right? If you're an ex-student, if you missed the session, no recordings available. 30 days is no, 30 days is just 30 days, including your weekends, right? It's 30 days, including your weekends. Right, single Q&A session, or no, single Q&A session, right? So that is what it says, that you get one complimentary, right? So that is where it says that you get, if I just go back, one complimentary. So with every renew, you get one complimentary session, right? So let's say you go for a 60 days subscription, you get one session. Again, when you renew it, again, you get another session. So every time you renew, you get one complimentary session. All right, so that is how you can access and you can subscribe. So make sure whenever you are subscribing, you're picking the correct one, because if you're picking the incorrect one, anyhow, it's not gonna let you do it. So if you're a POS student, select this. If you're a POS Plus student, select this. And if you're not a POS or POS Plus student, then you can select this. Now, the question is, what is the difference between POS and POS Plus? And what are the subscription charges? Just to brief you very, very quickly. so what happens is, to learn our methodology, we have basically two courses available for you. One is called as POS and the other one is called as POS Plus. POS stands for Performance Optimization Strategy, and POS Plus stands for Performance Optimization Strategy Plus. So what happens is, as soon as you join our POS course, you learn the complete methodology as pre-recorded lessons. So as soon as you register, you get access to our pre-recorded lessons. You can watch those pre-recorded lessons and learn our methodology, for which you get 7 days. So within 7 days, you have to complete your course, after which you don't have access to that course content. And now you know the methodology, you can start applying it on your own trades, and with time, you'll start getting better with it. That is what POS is. Now, what happens in POS Plus is, again, the methodology you learn from the pre-recorded lessons, but after learning it from the pre-recorded lessons, you get access to our live online sessions, right? So these live online sessions is where, we give you some ready-made trading ideas. Whatever we have learned, we apply it to those trading ideas, which basically means you get to learn the methodology, plus you also get that hand-holding period. And for that hand-holding period, you have two choices. You can take that hand-holding period for 30 days, or you can take it for 60 days. Now, talking about the pricing, which Vilas, you asked, POS costs you 5,000 plus taxes. POS Plus, you have two choices. 30 days subscription is 10,000 plus taxes, and 60 days subscription is 15,000 plus taxes, right? So that is what the pricing are. And yes, let's get back. So the product is available now. So you can go to our website. It's live now. If you want to subscribe, you can subscribe anytime. And what will happen is, you'll start getting the alerts. You will be added to our channel. If you want to have a preview, or if you want to have a demo, you can join our demo channel. That's the URL, which is t.me/skalert-demo. And you will be a part of this channel forever. So if you only want your hourly income alerts, you don't even have to subscribe for the paid version, right? But you will only be getting your alerts on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and only for hourly income trades. That's the only downside to this, right? And that's it, right? So I hope you really like this surprise, the very first of its kind alert system, which is purely based on demand and supply. And if you have any questions, queries, you can email it to us at, I'll put my email address in fact, what I'll do is I'll just show you where you can email us. So if you have any questions, queries, you can come to our website, and on our website, just go to the end of it. And here you have contact us. Click on this contact us. Whatever questions, queries you have, you can put in your questions, queries, and you can also email us your questions, queries to info@surjitkakkar.com. And thank you so much for joining in. Let me again see quickly what questions are still there in the Q&A tab, and maybe I'll take a few more minutes and answer all of them. So Vilas, I've already answered your question. Any new courses for options? Not as of now, Sudipta. And next question is, I'm unable to decide complimentary Q&A date at the time of subscription. Can I select it later? No, you will have to do it at the time of purchasing, because the fact is, when you're doing the subscription, unless and until you select a date, it will not allow you to add it to your cart, right? So you'll have to do it that same time itself. Can I join POS Plus directly without doing POS? Absolutely yes, because it's exactly the same content. The only difference is that in POS, you don't get live sessions, and POS Plus, you get live sessions. So you don't have to go for POS if you're going for POS Plus. You can straight away go for POS Plus. And what if I renew after validity of 60 days as POS student? So as a POS student, doesn't matter. You always get that 50% discount. So as a POS or as a POS Plus student, Sahil, that 50% discount is always available to you. So even if you don't renew it before the expiry of your previous subscription, doesn't make any difference, right? Anytime you wish, you don't even have that restriction, right? So that 50% advantage, it never lapses for you. That 20% advantage only lapses for people who are not a student with us. So they have to renew before the expiry of the previous subscription. For you, it will never lapse. You will always have that 50% advantage. Right? TradingView is showing explosive move, but alerts sometimes do not show explosive move compared to the TradingView default settings. Yes, Sahil, that is how it is. Because what we have done is, for the alert system, we have made it a little bit more conservative. And the reason we have made it a little bit more conservative is so that we have less number of alerts. And that's the reason many opportunities which the default settings on TradingView might show you our alerts would skip just to identify something even better than that, right? So that is how I'll be adding it. All right, so I've answered your questions. Hearing you after a long time, I guess refreshing. All right, thank you so much. So again, thank you so much for joining in and taking out time, and enjoy your weekend and take care. Bye-bye.